exciting. Good morning, Susan. I hope you're well. Right, let's see if I can move this around a bit. So you get a better view rather than that of my holder. Right, don't know. Good, that's great news. No, that hasn't really worked, has it? If I do it slightly higher. Morning, Sue. Oh my goodness me, Susan. Oh, another great nephew. Oh, how sweet. Have they named him yet? Oh, that's better. Freddie. Oh, that's fantastic news. Oh, that's really lovely, Susan. Morning, Nikki. Good morning, Brenda. Yes, it is chilly. And I can see a bit of blue sky. I can also see clouds, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I haven't looked. Good morning, Moya. Hello, Lucinda. Lovely to have you with us this week. Hope Neil and Bethany are okay. Oh, Brenda, lucky you. Where are you? Are you up by Winchester or Basingstoke? Are you that area? We don't have brilliant sunshine. It's light. It's not really dark and gloomy, but there are clouds, looks like, coming along. Morning, Helen. Lovely. Lovely to have you along. Hi, Lucinda. Sorry, Helen, I was reading Lucinda's message. Well, as long as you're here, it really doesn't matter, does it? What you're wearing, where you've come from. I guess that's the beauty between being home. Glad that Neil and Bethany are okay. Okay, Brenda, that's nice. Oh, and you've got a son too, Lucinda. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see some. It has been frosty again, so it's not. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Lucinda. We have got frost on the cars again, although I don't know if it was as bad as it was yesterday when it was really cold in the morning when I went to work. But anyway, not to worry, not to worry. At least we haven't been affected quite so badly as some with those storms. Oh, is it? I don't even know what it is outside. I don't know what our weather forecast is here. Let me have a look. For some reason, my -1 according to your phone. I don't know what we are here in New Milton. I don't know. BBC weather's just waking up, but it always goes to Hordle for me. You've got frosty as well, Moya. Yeah, it has been icy out there because I can see part of my car from here where I am. You've got 1 degree, Helen. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I think it's because I don't have this on in the background all the time. Oh well, it'll be a surprise. Yeah, it is chilly. But I like it when it's chilly and sunny though. That's nice to go for a walk. Obviously, warmer and sunny is also nice to go for a walk. I quite like going for a walk in a sharp cold as opposed to a damp cold, if you know what I mean. Have a look at my garden. It wants some attention. Yeah, maybe February. We'll see what happens. No, the weather map's not opening up, so I don't know what's going on. Absolutely, Lucinda. Yeah. Chilly in the school run. How are your kittens or cats now, Nikki? How are they getting on? I agree, Nikki. Lovely to on frozen ground. I really like that. Yep, Lucinda. Yep, definitely. Cold and sunny as opposed to sunny and damp. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, look. I don't know what's going on with the weather map. It's not playing ball. Oh, lovely, Helen. Oh, great, Nikki. Glad they're doing well. Helen, that's lovely. Nice dog walk on the downs. Brenda, I've had a good clear up. Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. February half term. That should be when it starts, hopefully, to get a little bit warmer, isn't it? I've got quite a bit to sort out. And I've got an area of my garden to redesign. Very excited about that. Well, I put 2 trees, so I need to do all the underplanting, but I want some irises. That's what I'm going to do. Good morning, Nikki. Lovely to have you along. Okay. I don't know how many are joining us. Hi, Nicola. Lucinda. Well, I guess that's a fair enough excuse. You were cuddling with the cat. Yeah, that's a nice reason to stay in bed, isn't it? Are your cats cuddly, Nikki? I don't have any pets. I keep thinking about having a dog, and then I keep thinking, no, not at the minute. I don't know. I don't know whether I'll get one or not. Who we got here? Sheila's on. Morning, Sheila. Okay. We've got quite a few of you here, haven't we? Luna is, but Yogi just likes his belly rubbed. Cats are very strange creatures, aren't they? Not in a horrible way. I mean, they just like to do the unexpected, really, I think. Okay, let's make a start. So this is kind of where we're going today. As I said, I'm going to change mine up a bit, and where I've used texture base, I'm actually going to use gesso because it's going to dry much more quickly, which is why I said we'll go with gesso. I'm going to do different colorways just so you can see that it's different, and also I'm going to use the sentiment in a slightly different way. Morning, Pauline. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is this background, and there are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of ways of doing a background on a journal page. We'll do this one this time, and I'm thinking that next time round we'll do it slightly differently. So we're bringing some different techniques on the journal page if you're all happy with that. So hopefully that will work for everybody. So the first thing we need to do is to grab our paper, our paint, and our brayer. And as I said, I'm going to go with a couple of different colours. You don't need a lot of paint to do this because it's better to be scratchy. And on this one, I have a little bit of white. I haven't covered it completely. You can have more white coming through. We don't have to completely coat the background. That's not really what we're doing here. So choose your 3 colours. Take your 3 colours. And decide which one you're going to use first. Yeah, that's always the hardest, isn't it? I think I might go with a light blue. Now I'm just using, it doesn't matter which paint you use, any acrylic paint. If you're using a translucent acrylic paint, we just need to be mindful of not having too much out so that it's too wet, otherwise it might mix in and make mud. These are opaque, so they're going to go over each other. All right. If you don't have acrylic paint, then I haven't tried this, and I'm going to try it on something else. You could probably, the oxides will work as well because they're opaque. But if we've got our paint, let's go with our paint. And I'm only going to try and put it in the center. I could say try. I'm going to try and put it in just the center area of the brayer. So I don't want the whole thing covered. All right. So I'm just going to keep it pretty narrow. And then it's up to you. If you want some space top and bottom, then start on the card, or if you want to come in and go straight across. What we don't want to keep rolling backwards and forwards to give it a full cover. So what we're going to be doing is just, just bringing in spots of colour. That's what we want to do. So you can come both ways, whatever the colour is, but then layer them down lightly. We can always add more colour, but you can't take it away, as we know. So once we've done that one, I'm then going to go in, and you don't want too much so that it doesn't get too wet and messy, so to speak. Now, I'm going to run out of room here, aren't I? Let's put the green up here. Oh my lordy, that came out quite a long. Don't really want that much green at the minute. So let's just move that out of the way. Lord, goodness gracious. Had a little air bubble or something in there, then it decided to come out all in one go. Right, so again, we can bring it in different places. Just to have, let's have a look at the other one, the original. Yeah. Just so that we can bring them in. And I might have a little more white on this one as well. What I am going to do is put a little bit more over here. There we go. I think that's good. And then I'm hoping that my blue is sort of getting dry so that it doesn't turn green when I put the yellow on. Ooh. Wonder what's going to happen with this colour. There we go. And then let's bring in a bit of yellow. Always lifts it yellow. I might want a little bit more of the yellow. Yeah, just too much green, not enough yellow. Just build this up slowly. Here we go. Yeah, I want it a bit darker over on my left, I think. I've got holes in mine because it's come out of a journal. And this particular art journal has ring binder. That's a bit better. A little bit there. Right. If you look at your painting that you're doing now. Oh, hang on 1 second. I've just got a message from Sheila. Hang on. She's lost the link. Hang on 1 second. Where the heck is it? Let's see. Oh gosh, where's the link gone? Has somebody got the Nicola? Have you got the email you can send to your mum that I sent out last night with the link? Because I can't find it on my phone quickly. In fact, it's not on her at all. Friday, it's not showing up. Let's have a look, see if it's in this one. No, I don't have it to hand, so it's obviously gone into. Yeah, Nicola, if you can send it to Sheila, that would be great, please. Thank you. Because I haven't got it to hand now. Where the heck is that gone? That's really weird, isn't it? Let's see. No, it's not. I don't have it. Okay, if you've got an opportunity, Nicola, that'd be great. I don't know where the link's gone on my phone. I did send it from my my laptop, and sometimes the emails are not linking. I don't know why. Oh, brilliant! You're a star. Thank you, Nicola. Okay, so if we come back to this and have a look at oh, thanks, Nikki. Right, Sheila's got it. Lucinda has sent it as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're all great. Thank you. Have a look at your artwork there and see whether you want to add any more depth to your paint. I might add a bit more green on mine. I think it's a bit too wishy-washy on here. So I'm gonna use a bit more green, I think. Let's give it a bit more depth of colour. Oh, that's better. Ooh. Oh well. Looks like I'm going to use all that green paint now anyway. So just in the little bits where you want a little bit more. That's it. I think that's better. Might have to put a teeny tiny weeny bit of extra blue in. Just a teeny tiny. But play along with your colours. Get them how you want them. I know I'm not cleaning my brayer. It's paint. It doesn't really matter. So we'll have a greeny bluey effect here. I think, yeah, like that. A bit heavier. That's okay. Right, I'm going to leave mine like that. I'm just going to clear up because otherwise it's going to go everywhere. So let's just place that to the side and clear up. Right, so what's the best way? Let's have a look at this. You could, because it's acrylic paint, you could spritz it and try and pick it up with a spare piece of paper. If you're going to do not what I'm going to do, which is just pick it up. Let's have a look. Yeah. So let's get this all mopped up. I might keep the paper towel. You can always use the paper towel, except it needs to be damper. Right. Let's get it all nice and clean. That's better. Ooh. And in doing so, I have completely covered myself in paint. Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to, I didn't want to use a baby wipe, but it looks like I'm gonna have to wipe my hands. Okay, so back to this. Is anybody else as messy as you? Are we all covered in paint? I hope you're with us now, Sheila. And all we've done is braid our acrylic ink onto our journal page. Right. Okay. Let's put these out of the way. So that should be pretty dry. It shouldn't take, if you've layered it quite lightly, it shouldn't be too wet. So we should be okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. And just move the brayer out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to look at our, no, we're not going to do that at all. I was going to say our stamps, but we're not. We're going to do the gesso bit first now. You don't have to add anything from a stencil, and you can add it in different ways as well. So we'll just do it this way this week, and then we'll do a different way another week. So on my original one, I had some, because I'm keeping the circles, I've got a circular theme going on, so I had circles coming in from the sides. You don't have to do this. So with whatever stencil you've chosen, have a look and think which one. Now I've got the clarity one here with the circles, which is the one I used first of all. So you can use them half on, half off, place them where you want them to go, what kind of pattern you want them to have. You don't even have to have them on the corners. I mean, you could just be bringing in some little bits all over the place, you know, like that. The other circular one I've got is the one from All and Create, which comes in two sizes, this size and a very large one, an A4 size. So I'm actually going to do this one this time so we can see the difference. And I am probably going to go, I probably will just do what I've done before. I don't want to go too differently for you. So I'm going to bring in, but I'm going to use some gesso paint this time. And we don't want a great deal. And we don't want it to come under the edges of the stencil either. I haven't used this for a while. I've used a different gesso paint. Oops, there we go. So we just want a little bit. I'm going to use this applicator. If you've got a sponge, you can use that, or a stencil brush. Something that we want to try and put it on. So we're going to dab it through so that we don't have too much, and hopefully it won't go under either, so that we do the circles. Okay, so we only want a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of gesso on the sheet and then just get it into the sponge. We don't want too much. If you're going to put it onto the tool and try and spread it around, then just be careful how much you do. And we can always build it up. So think about where you want to put your stencil, and I am going to go top and bottom again, I think. I'm going to come in at an angle. If you want to mask any of it off, just be careful. Then, you know, you can use, if you have it to hand, I just have it to hand, but I'm just showing you what you can do, depending on your stencil. So if you think you only want a little bit, then you can block off any part of the stencil that you don't want to use. You may want, so on this stencil, because I've got little ones as well, I may want a greater mix of the both. Do you see what I mean? So I can block off some of them, oops, so that I get some little ones and not quite so many in other areas, if that makes sense. Yeah. So just have a think about which part of the stencil you want with your cursor, look at me, with your tool. And then we're just going to come in and we're going to dab. Start off gently first of all. I'm going to need to put some more on mine. Okay. So I only want a little bit for the minute. I'll have a bit more out. This is Indigo Blues Gesso Good Gesso. Gesso. Any gesso will work for this. And we're going to bring it in. We don't want to make a major feature of it. It's meant to be there in the background. So there we go. So my mum and dad would have had their vaccination now. They went this morning, and so has Barbara. That's why she's not joining us today. She's hers as well, which is good. Check, see what you've got. I mean, it's going to be quite faint against mine because of the lighter colours, but that's good. I know what I've done there. Let's make it a little bit darker before we go down to the other end. You can see that it is taking the paint back a little bit. That's fine. Probably on a bit wide. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to do that there. And then let's come in at a slightly different angle. Let's not have it exactly the same. And then now let's see what we can get here. Oops. It's always good if you get your finger as well, you know. Try and make as much mess as possible whilst you're doing this. Some little ones going in there. There we go. So how does that look? Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Got a little bit of texture as well. We'll leave it like that for the minute. We'll have a look at other things we can do with gesso as well. Right. So I've got mine there. They're quite subtle actually, but we'll bring them back to the front, some of them. So we'll just have a look at that and then clear the gesso up as well. Oh. Yes, looks like there's a lot around the edge here. Oh, for goodness sake. And I'll have to use this. Well, let's get some more. Let's get some more paper towel out. Okay, I'll stop there for a minute. Let me know if you can, if you're caught up. There we go. And then if you're professional like me, you can throw your tools on the floor. Okay. I knew the moment my boiled egg cracked when I put it in the water. It was going to be a fun day. Right. Okay. How are we all getting on? I'm going to stop here for the minute. You let me know when you've got to this part. So you've got some paint on, you've sprayed it on. And then we've had some gesso through the stencil, and depending on the colours you've used, it's going to look different. So it will either be much brighter or not. I'm quite happy with mine because it is we are going to bring it back out a little bit anyway. I'll worry about my stencil. You can see that it's not exactly clean anyway. Whoops, definitely not clean. Okay. All right. Thank you, Lucinda. Yeah, no, I haven't bothered cleaning mine, as you can see. I'll worry about that later. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's subtle. It's just there. We will see it in a little later on. If you want to bring it out any more, we can do, as I added my fine liner on there. But we can stamp over it as well, so it will show up. Yeah, so it's here as well. Right. So mine's dry, which is good. If yours isn't feeling too dry, then get a quick waft. Don't really like using the heat gone over acrylic too much. But as long as it's only a light little cover, then that's fine. So let me know if you've got this part, you're cleaned up and you're ready to move on. And then we're going to get the stamps out so you can grab them as well. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Helen. Don't panic, Sheila. Okay, so with the gesso, Sheila, I just had a little bit on the mat and used a blending tool to go through my stencil. So we've just used any stencil, doesn't matter which stencil you've got, to add some background. So you're adding some texture and some background. It's very subtle on mine, and depending on the colours you've used, it will be on yours too. But you can see, so we just place our stencil onto the card. Don't know where mine sat actually. That did sit like that, but I don't know how. Oh, like that. Possibly. And then you use some gesso on your tool and stamp it through. So you go like this. All right. Oh, Nikki. Great, Pauline. Thank you. Thanks, Susan. Had to do a bit of a waft. That's fine. Thank you, Sue. All right. So I think most people are nearly there. Right. So we've got Nikki, Brenda, which is fine, and Sheila. That's fine. Oops. Those of you that are ready, have a look at your stamps, if they're not already out. Especially your background stamps, this is, not the other ones. Thank you, Brenda. So we're going to get the background stamps out. Well, maybe I'm not. They're very sticky. Now I'm just also having a look for something because I prepped the other card that we could make and have lost what I did with all the stuff. It's interesting. Oh well. Okay, never mind. Have a look at our background stamps then. And I'm going to go with let's bring this one back in again. I'm going to go with the circles first because once they're placed, we can then see how these others can fit. Now, the ones around the edges aren't really going to make that much difference, but we're also going to bring in some text ones as well. So let's go with the main focal image. You might only have one, that's fine. Stamp, or main background stamp that the focal image is going to sit against. All right, so we're going to stamp this one up first. I'm just waiting. I want to make sure everybody's ready. Now, on my original one, I went with a darker, well, actually it's red, although it doesn't look red on mine. It is red. And I'm using VersaFine Clair. We're going to go over acrylic. Yes, Lucinda, if you're using a mask to get your circle, then yes, this is what you would now use. And you need to, you'll need a blending tool to put it onto the acrylic. If you've got one handy, hopefully. So if you're using a mask, then we need to add the colour through the mask. Otherwise, we can use the stamp. Now, I'm going with a much darker colour this time. I'm going to go with Twilight on mine. On here, you can see I actually went with the red, and it was the VersaFine Clair. Which colour was it? One is Glamorous, and the other one is, I can't remember. I don't think it was Glamorous. I think it was the other one. So it has, and because it's going over, oh, I've also done something else on here, haven't I? I've actually knocked the colour back slightly using some gesso. I've just realised looking at this. If you think your colour is too dark, then you can knock it back slightly with some gesso. If you want to go ahead with how it is, then go with it. Now mine isn't too dark, isn't too bad, but if you do want to add some gesso, where's my paintbrush? Oh, then do it very gently. Pauline, it needs to be permanent ink. I'm not sure if the Distress Oxides will sit on this properly because it's the acrylic paint. But if you want to knock yours back very, very slightly, you don't want to take all the colour out, but if you think it is too bright or you've got too much colour on it, then put a little bit of gesso down. I knew I had to have the gesso out for another reason. And then you're going to practically dry brush it on. So I haven't put any water with mine, so you can dry brush it and then just bring it over and just do it slow in gently in soft, so you can see that bit's now been knocked back a bit and this has been knocked back a bit. Can you see that? Is that showing up? So if I do it down here, so I've knocked the blue back a bit. You don't want to cover it completely, but if you think that your colour is too bright and you might want to just knock it back slightly, this is where you can add gesso. But as I said, you don't have to. If you're happy with your colours, then don't worry about it. I just wanted to show you what you could do. All right. Oh, I haven't got any water in there, have I? Nope. Okay, sorry if I went over the camera there. Just adding some water to my pot. But that's only if you wanted to do that. It's not a major necessity. Okay. So then, Have we got our mask? Are we all ready at this point? So we've got our mask, we've got our stamp, and we've got our ink. Yes? So if you're using the mask, you need to have a tool to put the ink through the mask. Don't put too much on at a time, just build up the colour. And then with the stamp, this is really dark, this one. Go for really great contrast. Now let's think what we're going to do here, because we've got 3 circles. Well, I'm going to put 3 circles on mine. Think about your stamp and where you're going to place it. So we could start at the top, then we could go to the bottom, and then we could fit one in, or we could do the middle and then go out top and bottom. So it's up to you how you want to do this, all right? And it doesn't have to be completely perfect. It doesn't matter if it's not completely perfect. This is your journal page, and you are stamping onto acrylic ink. I'm going to stand up for this. So I'm going to put my middle one in first, I think. So I'm going to have it roughly, where do I want it? I'm going to have it here, I think. Bearing in mind where your circles are, you may end up going over some of your circles, which if you notice on here, this one did, but that's fine when we come to do it in the end. But let's do our first one. Let's get our print down of the first one. Those of you that are stamping, ink your stamp up quite well and then press it and leave it to stay in touch with the paper, because we're going over paint. All right, I'm going to put this one in first. And then, there we go. So that's going to be fine, like that. And then we put our other 2 in. So once you've done the first one, we're then going to, if you're putting more in, if you're doing what I'm doing, we then can go on. And depending on your stamp, depending on what it is, this one is it's kind of symmetrical, I guess, really. But if you want to turn it so that if you don't want the bottom line to go that way, you actually want it to go the other way. So it's going to come this way. No, that's going to be the same, isn't it? Because it's a circle, Angela, you dozy. You dozy wazzock. If your stamp has a different shape to it, then see what it looks like, turn round. You know, you can either turn the stamp round, turn the paper, see if it gets a different angle. Obviously, on the circle, it's not going to make much difference. So then let's add it, try and get this level as I can. But you may want it at an angle. So on the circle, you could do an angle so that they're not completely exactly the same, which is what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to angle mine. So I have it finishing in a slightly different way. So I could angle it like this. And then it's about right, isn't it? It doesn't matter if they're not perfectly straight. This is your journal. Now everything we're doing on here could go on a card as well. And then in a journal, the art journals are there for you to record different things that you make, try out. It might not work all the time. So you can make a note of what you did. What bits do you like out of something that you've done? Not just this one, anything else you've done at home as well. I think we'll probably try and do a few more journal pages, building up different layers. This is a nice one to start with, and then we can do different things. Ooh, no, don't drop the stamp. It's not always a good idea if you do that. And then on to the third one. And depending on the paper you're working with, you'll also get different textures coming through. This is watercolouring card, this one. And so there is a tooth to it. So I'm getting different, you can see, I've got kind of like different kinds of impressions where it's actually coming through. And then, oops. put your last one in place if you're going to do that. What's a brilliant idea, Susan? Something you did? Something I don't know what the brilliant idea is. Let's do it that way around as well then. Just realised I'm going on to a hard service as well, and I usually go on to my mat, don't I? Well, you know, that's fine. Journaling. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. I'll show you some others. Well, we've done a couple ourselves. I'll show you one that I did. You might not have seen it. Actually, you won't have seen it, Susan, definitely, because it was on Facebook. Although I did put it on my Instagram, I think. Did I? Can't remember. I'll show you one I did with Tracy Evans. And then we'll do some, as I said, we'll do some more, though. We could do one whilst we're on lockdown. We're doing lives. We could do one a month. There we go. Right. There we go. So that's mine. Now, this paint, because we're going onto a non-porous surface. Oh, right. Okay, Susan. Get the right Sue there. Susan. Okay. That's a good idea. What we're going to do now, I need to clean my stamp, is that because we've gone on to acrylic paint, it's not a porous surface. So the permanent ink is not going to dry straight away. So we need to blot it, which is going to take it down a bit, and probably use our heat gun on it as well. So grab some paper and blot it. Hopefully you've got some. I don't know if I said make sure you've got copy paper. Sorry. Yeah, see, look how much is coming off. So, got to be careful now. I'm just doing one at a time. Yeah, still quite a bit to come off. So I'll just blot it a couple of times, and then I need to use the heat gun on it. How's everybody doing? If you need me to wait at this point, I will. I'll get the heat gun out and I'll wait for you all. There we go. Right. Does it need one more block? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's calming down a bit. And then I'm just going to heat gun. So, yes, Lucinda. Okay, Nikki. Yeah, blot it onto another journal page. Archival probably will have dried more quickly. Always remember, if you're going to use your heat gun, do the back as well as the front. Right, hopefully, it's still tacky, still a bit tacky. This coming off now. It's more right in the center. There we go. That should be fine. Okay. Let me know when you're at that point. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Lucinda. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Susan. Thanks, Nikki. Yes, it does. Brilliant, Nikki. Thank you. Sheila and Pauline, I hope you're okay as well. Oh, goodness me. I forgot I had some gesso still on my palette knife. Right, there we go. Get a to clean that. Great, Pauline. Thank you. Sheila, are you okay? Thank you, Nicola. Okay, Brenda. Glad you found it. All right, the next thing we're going to do is start to put some of the embellishment stamping on. So I've got a word stamp here, which I know doesn't show up very well, but it's there. You can, it might not show up. Does it show up in the camera? It's there so that you can actually see it. Okay, Sheila. So I've got text here, here, here. I might put a little bit down there as well and some over here, but then I've gone over it again. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm using a coloured ink that blends in. So you want it to see it, but it complements the colour paint I've used. So on mine, I've got VersaFine inks out. I do actually also have archival little ones as well. So you can use either of them. It doesn't matter. As you can see, the VersaFine one is more juicy, so we do have to be a bit careful with it, not going completely mad, or just making sure that it's blotted. And then otherwise, use your archival inks. If you've got any of these little ones, or even the larger ones, some of you may have the larger pads, then we could go and use these kind of things. And in this one, I'd use the yellow, probably this blue, and it would have to be this green because it's the only green I've got in archival. You might have the other VersaFine. They did have other colours as well, but it's whichever inks you've got, whichever suits you. And I've gone for these three. I've gone for these three to work with the colours that I've got. Okay, and I'll start with the blue. I'm only going to use part of the stamp, so I'm not putting it on the block. Let's take that out of the way. So with this particular word stamp, which is covered in here, so that those of you that got the Hobby Art one, it's quite long text, so you can take whichever bit of text you like. You might just want the whole of the side and then come in with the side. You might want a little bit of the top, so we're going to ink it up and then push and then just stamp a little bit like that. Okay, but choose whichever part of the stamp. You may just want this end over here, or you may want this end, this side, so it looks like it's finished, but then this side of the stamp over on that side. So have a look at your stamp and decide how you want your text. We'll do odd numbers, and we'll do it with the blue for this one, and we'll look at other colours as well. I may put in a different colour as well. I don't think I did on the text, but on the splatters I did. So think about which part of the stamp you want to use. Ink it up. Just ink up the bits that you think you're going to use. And then take it over and then press down. Just the bit you want. There we go. You can see what I've done there. All right. By using part of the stamp. Now I've still got some ink on here. So let's go over to the other side. I think I'll do the other side over here. Yeah. So I'm just going to do some text down here. Again, just a little part. You don't have to have all of it. All right. Think about where you might want to add a little bit of text. A bit down here and a bit up there, maybe. So if you only want the corner bit, just ink up that little bit. And this is the only time you take your stamp to the ink pad. I know, we usually say ink pad to the stamp, don't we? But this time you do it this way. And again, I'm just using a smaller portion. Because I'm going on my mat, I'm just wiping it up as I go. Just so I don't get it into be a right old state. And then let's have, says she, state in my hands. I have to confess that I'm not brilliant at this. Some people seem to be able to do this. And they just go boom, 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 and it's done. And they're not covered in ink the way I am. Practice for me. Practice, practice. So I just use a little bit up here. Ooh. Let's have a look. There we go. Doesn't have to be completely perfect, and that's fine. For the minute, we'll just leave that like that. Okay. Right. Just put that one out of the way. Okay. And then bringing in one of our other colours, we're going to use a different background stamp. Now on the hobby art backgrounds, there is this splatter stamp. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to use this splatter stamp now. See if you've got one similar to that. And I just use my finger as the pad again. And I'm going to look to do this in, that's going to be interesting which colour shows up. Let's have a look at the green. And I'm just going to add some splatters coming in. We will make some paint splatters. Oh, does show up a bit. Not too bad. So I might do three in this one. I'm going to have a look at the yellow. We might just want a portion of the stamp, and we might just want a little bit down here. Have to use the whole thing all the time. And I'm going to see whether the yellow will show up as well. Let's have a look. So what I've done so far is the text, stamp the text in a blue. And I've just seen I've got 4. Dear me, that'll be fine. So I've got some of the wording around there in the blue. I then just used the splatter stamp to bring some background in with the green, and I'm going to do some yellow as well. See whether any of this will show up. It might show up on the white actually more. So let's just bring in on the gesso, let's bring in some splatters as well. Why not? There we go. And then maybe there as well. We will bring something else to the edge as well. So that's the text stamp in the blue, the splatter stamp first in the green and then in the yellow. And then we'll have a look in a little while to see whether you want to add anything else. But we're going to add some more. I mean, if you want to put more word in or more spatters in, we'll have a look in a minute because we're going to add some other bits and pieces in a second. Okay. So are we at that point? Is everybody with me? It is wet, of course, because we've got VersaFine going on to, if you're using VersaFine, it's going on to acrylic. If you're using the archival, you may find that it is drying quicker. So what I'm going to do for the minute is I'm just going to blot some of this, just to be a little bit on the safe side, just to bring it down a little bit, just take the worst off. So, that one was damp. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to have a look at something around the edges as well. Now I've already stamped out my flowers. If you haven't, don't worry, we'll do them in a minute and you can cut them out. Hopefully you have got them cut out. Because I've got some black on here, I'm going to bring some black in as well. And I'm going to do that around the edges. Now, depending on the stamps you've got, some of you may have some All and Create background stamps. Some of you have got these background stamps here, and others I know are using different ones. But have a look and see what you've got. For instance, we've got the squares here we can use. We've got some wood. We've got this little stamp here as well. We've got the open ones. We've even got like the Greek key symbol. And then this little checkerboard one. We're going to use the paper clip in a minute. So it's entirely up to you. If we have a look at mine, you can see that I've used the squares along the frame so that we don't want the whole frame, whoops, completely covered. But we've kind of framed it just by using the square stamp here. And then I've used the open stamp next to it in one of the other colours. Red in this instance, do you see? So we're going to look at something like that. I'm thinking I might do something slightly different this time and go with this top stamp up here. So it's a couple of squares and a line. And I'm going to try and ink up just that bit. So let's see how that goes. All right. If we get ink on the rest of the stamp, I mean down here, oh, this one actually probably hasn't even been used, is it? So I'll give it a quick wipe. Using this one, because we might get some on the lower part of the stamp and we might not want it all, and in fact the same on this one as well. If you only want the one row, then we stamp off the edge of it like this. So we're going to use the stamp, just line it up, and then the rest of the stamp is on the mat. If you want the whole thing, then obviously we can stamp it. But from this point of view, I just want it on the edge. So we'll turn the card each time. All right. And we'll see how that goes. Does that make sense? So we'll turn the card each time so that the rest of the stamp is coming off onto the mat. So we only get a little bit of this stamp. All right, now, because it hasn't been stamped before, let's have a look. And this ink is, if you haven't stamped the stamp before, grab a piece of paper. Oops. And then, I know that's gone on the side top, but I just want to stamp it. Stamp it and see what it looks like. Now, because of my ink, I really do need to get another pad out. Such a waste. There's enough ink in here, but then you've got to make sure you've got enough on there. There we go. So it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. So that's what that stamp looks like. And I'm interested in just having the top as best as I can. You can either clean the stamp off or we just stamp off the edge. So we'll do both. So you can see what I'm doing. So again, I'm using the fingers as the pad. Get it off from my mat. And then I'm just going to do that. And then if you want to, you can wipe it. So depending on the type of stamp you're using, you might want to wipe away what's underneath it, which you can't see me do. That's really clever. So we take a cloth and we just take most of the ink off this bottom bit here, because we only want that top bit. Okay. And then I'm going to place it here. Again, let it have contact with the paper. There you go. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. Have contact with the paper and then lift it. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything. We're not getting a perfect squares there. In my case, look at what your stamp's doing and then we can. So again, I'm just going to have a look. Let's put it here. So I'm just going to go on the edge here. Let it grip, let it have contact. There we go. All right. If you're using this background, then you'll have a long row of squares. If you ink the whole thing up, ink up what you want to use. Let's take this one out of the way. And then we're going to go here. So let's have a look. That one's like that. Think about where you want to put it. I think I might go here actually. Doesn't matter in one sense of the word, but have it nice and balanced. So if I go like this in this corner here, I'll then turn it and we can have, now one of the, or All and Create do circle stamps, square stamps, hexagonal stamps, triangular stamps. And the images on the stamp are different sizes and they look great doing this. But you can use any part of any stamp you have. Now, of course, I've got a hole there. Let's have a look. So let's go there then. There we go. Oh, caught a little bit of the other one, but that's okay. So let's just try it. Let's just get this up a minute. With my damp cloth. Oh, I haven't got any water left in there. That's it. Get a good clean. Wipe the stamp down. Although some people say don't wipe your stamps. I tend to take the colour. You certainly have to clean your stamp off if you're using oxide, because it will affect anything else you ink with it if you don't get the ink off. Right, so I'm having a look at some of the other ones we've got here now, and I think I'm going to use this little stamp here, the key stamp. You just want different stamps just to go around the edge, and I'm going to stamp it in the what colour is going to show up? Probably the blue will show up better. So I'm going to do it in the blue. And I think I'm going to just add it to the edge like this. Just do a couple of them. Let's go 3. Along the edge as well. That's how I'm going to use mine. Think about your layout. Think about what you've used. Have a mini stamp. Oh, Lucinda. Any part of any stamp would work, really. So, I need to go this left ways now, don't I? It's going to be interesting. So, let's just do it this way. There we go. I want the edge to remain on the mat. Oh, I got it. I have got it that way up, haven't I? And then again, repeat along the edges. Bringing some colour in. And then eek. It's going to hit my words here, isn't it? So we do it like that. There we go. So any kind of stamp you want to use around the edge there. So we're giving it a frame without giving it a frame, if you see what I mean. So we're not framing the entire thing. So make sure your mat's clean. And I'll wait there for a minute. And let me know. Let me know when you're at that kind of point. I'm just going to look for a Posca pen. I thought I had navy blue. I do have navy blue. There we go. Okay, how are we all doing? That's interesting. Okay. What have I done with my white Posca pen? Well, I'll worry about that in a minute. Let me know how you're getting on. There it is. Buried. It's all right. I'm being naughty, getting some stuff out while you're finishing off. So, do we have something like this-ish? So you've got your 3 areas, you've got your different stamping as well in your other colours. Okay, Nikki, thank you. Thank you, Sue. Right. Do a little bit more, it's just a little bit more stamping on here. I'm just going to add the paper clip because we have one with the hobby art. Thank you, Brenda and Moya. Thank you, Sheila. Thanks, Lucinda. Thanks, Nicola. I'm trying not to rush you. I hope I'm not rushing you. Thank you, Helen. Did I say thank you, Lucinda? Thank you, Nicola. Or Nikki. Okay. Just wait for everybody to get there. I think we're nearly there, aren't we? I hope everybody else is. I know some of you are not chatting, so I don't know if Nancy's with us today. Is she? Okay, Pauline. Right. So what I'm now going to do, because we do have this paperclip stamp, and it may be that some of you don't have anything that you think is appropriate or you want to use, I was just going to bring in the paperclip so as though you've got a little bit clipping to parts of your journal. I don't know whether to use this time round or not. I might, yeah, I will this time. What we could do as well on a different journal page, because we've got quite a lot going on in here, we could actually have the sentiment on another piece of card and have the paperclip pinning it as though it's holding it into place. Well, obviously it'd be up here, but hi, Nancy. If you see what I mean, holding a piece, but we don't have that on this particular journal page at the moment. Thank you, Susan. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to add 3 little paper clips to the top, to both sides of where my circles are, and then I might only do the 2. I mean, I've already done only 4 texts, haven't I? So I've already broken the rule. So if we have the 2 paper clips, you might balance it out. Let me have a look. So ink it up. And then I'm going to drop that. Then let's stamp it. I'm not going to stamp the whole thing. I'm just stamping part of it across the gesso. So I'm going over acrylic and gesso here. Okay. There we go. I'll do the same over here. Yeah, I'm going to have to bring in another piece of blue text because it's annoying me. Is it annoying you? And then I did it at the top last time, didn't I? Yeah. Well, it's going to go over the text, but that doesn't matter. You can layer stamps up any which way you want. So I'll just do that there then. There we go. I didn't press hard enough in part of it, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. What we've got here. So I'm looking at this. I'm going to have to put a piece of blue text somewhere. And normally I'd only do 3 on here, but I've got a bit carried away. So I've done 4. Where am I going to do my 5th? Probably. I don't know really. I'm going to leave it for the minute. No, let's not do that for the minute. Okay, I'm going to stamp the sentiment now. So we can put this to one side to dry off a little bit. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So on the spare piece of card, which I've marked already. Is that going to come off? Yeah, fine. I'm grabbing the Be Kind sentiment that is actually in the stamp set. Now, you may want to stamp this out 2 or 3 times because we're going to cut it up. Well, I'm going to cut it up. I mean, clearly you don't have to do that, but this is what I'm going to do this time round. I'm going to cut it up. So I'll have a look at stamping it, and I wonder if I should get my stamp press out. Let's have a go. I don't know where I've put my new ink pads away. It's clearing up. If I get enough on here, let's see how this stamps. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment 3 times just in case we need it to be. It's the Be Kind is a bit of a problem. So we might have to work out how I'm going to cut this up. Yeah, that's all right. So I've got a hair there. Let's just clean that bit of stamp off. Right, and I'm going to stamp it up again. I'm going to stamp again. As I said, I'll do it 3 times. So you can take the best bit of the sentiment. Maybe that most of it comes from one print, you know. But I like to have a few handy just in case. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to get me a messy piece of paper here, haven't I? Okay. So check your stamping out, and what I'm going to do is look to see the best way to cut this down. So on this one, I come back to this one, you see that I put the whole thing here like this, but this time round I'm going to cut it out and put it on white paper and dot it around a little bit. So just to show you different ways of using your stamps and placing them on your journal. So we need to cut this out. So which pair of scissors am I going to use? Not one. Let's have a look. These should be all right. So let's have a look at this. So I'm going to go with my longer scissors now. Which way is this going to cut? Because these are serrated. That should be the plain side. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm going to line it up, and this stamp I'm going to cut up into at least 4 pieces, if not 5. Now they are quite close, which is why we may, I knew that was going to happen, it's gone the wrong way. You have to hold the scissors a certain way to get the serrations or not get the serration. And I don't want it on the that one. There we go. So I know it's quite tight. That's okay. Right. So keep your pieces there. Might flip down to this one now. Where's my Eek. And I don't worry about try and get it perfectly straight. Maybe I should. I don't know. Now that's the be kind bit there. In a world where, so we want you can be. Okay, let's stick to using this one for a minute. So let's trim our lettering out. You've probably done this quicker than me. Now, is that? That's a bit too tight. Okay, so let's cut this one out. And then this is why I say cut out more than one of your, stamp out more than one of your sentiments, so that you can look at how you're going to cut the text if it's quite tight. Proud where you can be, and then we've got the anything, and then the be kind. So let's go. That's not going to work, is it? Let's have a look. So we've got the anything, and I will tidy that up a little bit. I'm going to have to use the other be kind. How are you all doing? I think we'll go with them. And then I need to out like that. It's a nice font, this font. It's just making it tricky to cut out. Maybe I'll do it like that. There we go. What does that look like? Or do I cut it out? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. And then do I round it off? Let's have a look and see what looks best when we get there. Okay. Hang on to that bit just in case. Don't know which Be Kind I'm going to do. They're both a bit tight around the D, aren't they? Well, I think that will be okay. Let's have a look. Now what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of ink around the edge, and we need to decide which colour you're going to put around the edge. So I'm going to go in with the Twilight to bring in the circle, I think. I'm not going to put a lot on. I don't want to put a lot on. So I'm just going to go gently around the edge. Almost just tickle it really. And they're very small pieces, and that's a very juicy pad. It would be because it's new or not used a lot. That's okay. This will be cool, and then we'll add to it as well once it's on the pad. This is probably where Archival scores over the VersaFine, so I'm doing it very, very gently. Bearing in mind there's not a lot of space between these sentiments. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm trying not to splodge it too much. There we go. I can't believe how mucky my fingers are. That's ridiculous. Okay. Ooh. How tiny are these little things? Oh, ink on my finger. This is fine. There we go. And then just a little bit around here. There. So stamp the sentiment. Cut the sentiment up, and I've now inked it, and this ink is really wet. So I'm just going to blot the edges. Hopefully everything's going to be okay. That's fine. Okay. Oh, I'm going to leave them on there for a minute because we're going to start bringing our page back, and let's have a look. So do you have your flowers? What? Sorry, have you all finished cutting out? There's me ranting on. There we go. So if you have finished cutting out, just let me know. It's the Be Kind. That lovely D is making it a bit difficult, but anyway. Let's have a look. Once you're ready, get some housekeeping done while you finish off. Yeah, that's a good idea, Susan. I don't have one actually. I don't have an eyeshadow sponge. Um, see, Susan, good idea. It's nice that we all share these different ideas. Thank you, Brenda. I still think part of this is still a bit wet. Look, it's just shiny. No, there's ink on this still. Just a bit there. Just make sure those of you that have finished cutting out your words and then lining them. There we go. Make sure your work is drying. You are going to need your cut out flowers for the next bit. Thanks, Sue. I'm just going to give a little bit of shaping. Those of you that are ready, I'm just going to shape my little cone flowers just to give them a little bit of the echinacea. This, of course, is when you find out you've got any wet ink on your hand. Fortunately, I haven't. Okay. It's looking like it's getting sunny out there now, which is rather nice. It's nice. Okay. How are we doing? Are we there? Okay, thank you, Pauline. Right. What we're going to look at now then is positioning our flowers. So I'm going just to lay them out, and I have gone different ways on mine. Oops. Might have just overdone a little bit of pressing there. So think about where you want to put them, how you want to put them. Do you want them high? Do you want them low? It's going to depend on the size of your card, actually. This one is quite, yeah, we can have it like that. So if we go with the base of that one, so we're going to have a look like that. Okay, thanks, Moya. Now I've given it a bit too much shape. I'm actually going to probably just glue it down with PVA glue. I'll use my Tombow. You have to be careful in a journal. It's not that you can't put anything in there, but of course, bearing in mind that the more stuff that goes on each of the pages, at some point it won't shut properly, which is fine. If it's puffed up, if it's got lots of stuff in it, that's cool. If you want to keep it flat, then we can do. Okay, Nikki. You're cutting out your flowers, I'm guessing. All right. Got a little bit. Okay. Okay. Sorry if I didn't mention getting them ready. That might be my fault if I didn't put it in the notes. But what we'll do is I'll go ahead so everybody can see what it's going to look like when it's finished, because this video will be up anyway, so you can see it. So I'm happy with the position of my flowers. So those of you that are ready, think about where you want your flowers, and then we're going to put them in. No, Helen, on this one I haven't coloured them. Oh, I did. Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, it wouldn't be surprised if I'd forgotten to mention it. Oh, that's all of you forgot to do them. Okay. Well, not all of you. On this page in particular, I haven't coloured them, but I'm going to show you another one I did, which was based on something Tracy did. I actually used different colours to her, and I'll show you what it looks. It's nothing like this one, but what it looks like coloured. So in this instance, I've left them white. On another one, we will be colouring them in. Okay, right. So I'm just going to glue these down then, and I think I will use my Tombow glue. Or I've got Clarity's as well. The Pergamano glue is really good for sticking down, I have to say. This Perga glue, it's very good. But either one, this has got quite a thinner nozzle, because of course these little stems are quite low, quite narrow, aren't they? So I'm just going to put some. I'm not going to stick the whole thing down. I'm not putting glue on every single piece. The problem is the stem, and with the stem, once you put it on there, you take a little paper towel and just blot. You've got the stem, but then hopefully it won't ooze glue. So let's have a look. We're going to go like that, and then I'm just going to push it down, and again just hold it in place for a few seconds or so for it to take. As I said, I haven't glued every single piece all the way down, so if the edges aren't sticking, then that's fine. It doesn't matter. And then just enough glue to hold it in place. And again, you can use a towel just to dab that bit off, and then hold it in place while it takes. And then don't know what pressure this Perga glue's on. Having said, it is really nice glue to use, but it oozes out the bottle. Maybe because I've got it standing upside down. Who knows? Right, and then our third one on. There we go. And then, oops, stop oozing. I'm just going to put that on for a minute because we're going to look at the positioning of the words. So, and don't worry about getting them straight, because I'm not. We can have them going in all sorts of angles. In a world, we've got to figure out which is the best way. So this may have to go up slightly higher. In a world where you can be anything, and then the be kind is sitting here. Or we can have to balance that out separately. Pop it up there. Yeah, that's going to be better. In a world where you can be anything. Where can I put my be kind? It's quite large, isn't it? In fact, it's very large. So much. Right, we'll do it this way then. In a world, you can be anything. In a world where you can be anything. And we'll have to put the be kind up here. I'll put it there. Once you're happy with where the wording is, as I said, you don't have to have it, you can have it at angles, or you can straighten it up. So we can do that. Okay. Here we go. Should that have come down a bit lower? I'm going to put that a little bit low. There we go. So make sure they're all sticking. So we've got a little bit of glue oozing out, then we can take it away. There we go. I'm going to do that a bit more straight, that one. There we go. And then with the words, I don't know that I gave you this idea. With the, I'm going to take a fine liner pen. I'm not sure I did mention. I can't remember. And what I'm going to do, just being careful, I'm going to lean on some white clay because this is, some of this area is still a bit damp. And then I'm just going to go over the, just round the wordings with the fine liner. Just scribble around them. A bit too messy there. And then this one, I think I'm just going to go. No, you're not going to see it very well anyway. I think I'm just going to go around the bottom parts here. That's very scratchy. Don't be quite so scratchy. Okay. So are we at that point? Now, I might have mentioned the fine liner. On the circles, I did actually highlight them with a black fine liner pen. Well, most of them I did anyway. I missed them. As you can see. Now, you can do that on the gesso if you want to. I'm not going to do that on this one. I think it works with the texture. I don't know but I'm going to do that this time round. If you want to, obviously, then you can do it. It's your journal page, but I'm going to leave mine so that it's different. It's going to give different effects. What I am going to do, though, is the splatters. Now, I've got a lot of blue on here, so I don't know whether to go with... Oh, no! Sorry, the Pergamino glue. Well, why does Pergamino glue keep oozing out the top? It won't stop. Right, sorry about that. Let's put that away. I'm definitely going to use white. Because we've got some black, the black will work. It's whether I choose to go with a blue. This is a dark blue. So whether it's going to be almost black anyway. I don't know. What colour is it? What colour is it going to come out at? Gosh, that's very, very wet. Right, let's just... Wow, that looks like that's been leaking. Let's go with the black and the white then. So if you have a black pen, if you're going to use paint, then use a fan brush. To show you that technique. Make sure it's running. Wow. What am I going to do with that now then? And then just have a few black splatters, and then the same with the white. Make sure it's pumping through it. This is a smaller pen, so I can't believe that much black ink came out though. Ooh. I don't know how much white paint I've got left. Oh, there's some in there. And then just flick. And then you need to leave that to dry. Gosh. That acrylic. Yeah. I think my blues might have looked quite nice on there, but let's just go with what we got. I don't want to overcook it. And so that's my one finished. And as you can see on this one, the black did some more spreading, but it's a bit more lumpy, that one. So quite a bit came out in the pump, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to leave it like that. Just going to hold that down a little bit. The glue's not holding it back properly. Let's do that. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll look to do a video of the other card, which, as I said, I had everything ready. So while you're finishing off, let me see if I can find... I have found it. Here's the card. Except the glitter. I didn't have the glitter ready. I'll go over the other card in a minute once you've finished. Or just coming up to the end. So that's where I've got to. So we braided the base of the card with our acrylic paint. If we wanted to knock it back, then we can use the gesso to knock it back. We use gesso through the stencil to give us some very subtle extra texture, which we could have gone further with that as well. We haven't in this case. Then we stamped our main circles in the middle, or whichever shape you've used down there, or if you've masked it. Then we added some texture with the different stamps and the different coloured inks. So I've used Word, Splatter, kind of a squarey, blocky stamp, and then I think it's called the Greek key, isn't it? Similar to that kind of pattern around the edges, and just popped on because we had the paper clip, and I just used the paper clip there. Cut up the sentiment so it can be added in a different way to how I did it last time. And then added the flowers. So we've stamped, cut out the flowers previously, added them here. No colour this time. We will colour another time. And then different text. And then the sentiment is cut and placed around the actual journal itself, finishing off with black and white paint splatters. So hopefully some of you get in there. So you've obviously finished, Nikki. Oh, beautiful. Love it. Yeah, Nikki, that's really, really lovely. I like how you've done the be kind. Yeah, I should have cut mine off really, but I haven't. So that's something in my journal that when I look back, I can say whether I want to do that again or not. So that's really lovely. Love the colours you've used. So that's that page then that we've done. I'm just going to show you. I probably shouldn't really. This is advertising Tracy. This is a Facebook page that she actually did, and those of you on Facebook would have seen it. So here's a different kind of way of doing a journal page. It's going over 2. There's things on here that I'm not happy with, so I'm going to look to do some, try it again, but I'm glad I've done it so that we can see how it works. And we'll look at doing not the same thing, but something along those lines another day as well, so that we can bring in different effects that we can use. But that's a different way of doing a journal page. And of course, last year we did one as well. Although, so I've got this one that was a sample one to show you, wasn't it? And then this one, and I have my large one as well that we did. I don't know if you can remember doing this last time. So we've done that one, and then I've got this one as well, which I have coloured in on this one, compared to using it white there. So we've got quite a few. Whoops, you're not going to see that, are you? We've got quite a few journal pages that we've done, and we will be doing some more. If you are up for doing some more, we've got some other ideas. I've got some other ideas for next week as fortnight. Which bit's gorgeous, Nikki? The blue one or one of the ones we've done? So anyway, that's where we're going to leave. Now you're going to need to put this to a side so that your acrylic paint dries. We don't want to heat set this one, so be careful it doesn't get marked in any way. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. I'll have a look at what you've done. Next time, I think we may... Oh, no, I just want to ask you, I've got a couple of things to go through with, if you can just hang on a couple of minutes. Now, some of you have been talking about Lavinia stamps on WhatsApp. I don't have a huge amount. Well, I didn't think I did. I haven't got a huge amount of Lavinia stamps. But I want to show you a couple of them so you can see. I know that some of you already know all of this. Others of you may not be, but we've had the conversation on WhatsApp. So I'm going to get out a couple of these. So you can see that, okay, that one has got wings. These little stamps are from Lavinia, and they're £1. They're £1 stamps that she does. So I've got unicorns as well. I've got, I don't know what she's called, but anyway. So we've got different trees, another unicorn, another tree, and some leaves from that one. I do have a favourite collection. Well, there's two favourite collections I really like. I mean, these are nice, obviously. I wouldn't have purchased them. She also has got, and these I adore. Okay, well, there's two little fairies. They're probably the only fairies I've got. In fact, they are the only fairies I've got. They're the only little fairies. And then she's got different kinds of toadstools as well. So we've got different, you may have seen some of these being used. And then another little one there as well. But then we've got the mermaid. I don't know how well this is showing up, actually. Do you need a piece of white paper behind it, guys? So we've got the mermaid, which is there. So I'll show you the toadstools again. There we go. So you've got those kinds of stamps. And then I have to say these are my favourite, which are, they can go either way, actually. The sea can go up, they can come down. So we've got some shells and some fishies. I've got another little fishy there. And some of the seaweed, which is in that one. So we've got those kinds of stamps. And then the latest stamps are the ones that actually, if any of you saw the Christmas stuff I did. So, and I started writing the names of the stamp set, because I've no idea what the others are called. I'll have to look them up. So then we've got the different ones, because we've got animals. So we've got them. So this is the new, these are the new stamps that came out, or part of the new stamp set that came out. She does the owls. And then there's a set of foxes. So that was part of the new set, and more are in the other one. So that was all very, with some flowers. There's another one like the swirl, and then the little mini Pippin. The little hare, or the little rabbit. Oops. And then the other set that goes with it to show you are different trees and things. Now, I am happy to do something with these, or whatever I put together, then you're more than welcome, obviously, to use your own stamps. So there's more of the little pound stamps, which are filling in for wreaths and things. And then the field grass, different pines, which I just got recently. There we go. Then there's, this isn't part of the new set, but I love that oak branch. Then we've got the mini berry, which came with, oh, that's separate, but then we've got the berry wreaths here. We got the twisted vine set there. Again, these are older stamps. And the fern leaf, which I used as the Christmas tree on my stamps. Some of you saw. And then more tree stems again. It's very woody. It's very mystical as well. And then another berry one. And this is amazing. The floral wreath one, which people have done a lot with. Anyway, they're the kind of stamps I've got from Lavinia. If you want me to do something, and we've had the chat. Sorry, where are we? Ooh, love the toadstools. Ooh. That's not many Lavinia stamps, Lucinda, when you see how many Clarity and All and Create stamps I've got. And I'm not even getting them out. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not even showing you them. It isn't many when you think how many she's done. Yeah, I love the sea ones too. I'll show you, if I can grab it, I'll show you. I'll sort the rest of them out in a minute. I'll put all them away. I think I've got it here because my sister wants me to do something. Here's the, now this one, the jellyfish, I stamped out in white ink and then I've coloured it in, and Gillian wants me to create one slightly differently because she's going to frame it, but I'm going to do it slightly differently as well. And you can always emboss them, and I'm going to bring in some sparkle, but that's how it stamps. Lucinda, single figures. Yeah, well, you know, I've had them for a while. It's not like I've just bought the whole lot all in. Well, actually, most of them have been bought in lockdown, to be perfectly honest. Yes. Well, I went a bit mad. But this is showing you what the jellyfish looks like anyway, just to give you an idea. So I'm happy to do something with them, and I know that some of you have been showing your work in the WhatsApp group, and it's been gorgeous. I know that Moya and Nikki have been showing a lot of work. So if you want something, then I'm more than happy to do something with it, and I'll look at which stamps it is. I have, as I mentioned in the WhatsApp group, which you might not. So says, okay, Lucinda. Yes, the wolves and foxes and the deer stamp is great. I did the deer stamp for my dad's birthday, which I did put on Instagram. I don't know if I did put them on Facebook actually. Yeah. Now the backgrounds, Paul. Some of them are inked. Some of them, Lavinia does prepared backgrounds. So I'm not saying they haven't done them. A lot of them have been done with the inks, and they are lovely. So we can do extra backgrounds. That's fine. We can do the blending with. You've done a little bit of it, but just not using Lavinia stamps. So what I'll do is we'll have a look, and I'll see which is the. I don't want you necessarily to go out and buy extra stamps that you don't want. And I can't get, well, I could ask to be a supplier, but it's a high purchase price that I need to get. So I would have to have, I can't remember what it is now. I think it's 250 before VAT. So that is quite high. Yeah, we've got the gel plate, which we will be doing some gel plate backgrounds as well. I know that your gel plates have been sitting quite quietly. So it's up to you. Maybe what I'll do is I'll look at doing something, and you can choose to get the Lavinia stamps, or you can choose to use something else. Maybe that's the best way to go, because I'm not asking you all to go out and buy extra stamps that you don't necessarily want at the moment. That's not fair. Well, I wouldn't do it anyway, but and we're not in a group, so I can't get them for the group either. And it'll be quicker and easier for you to get them if you want them. So I'll have a think then. I'll have a little idea about what we could do. We have done, which you won't have done, Lucinda, but we have done backgrounds with the gel plate and the inks and everything in the workshops when we were meeting in the halls. But I will do one on here. We'll do it. I'm not going to say it will be the February. If we look to March, then is everybody happy to do Lavinia in March? Because I don't see us getting back in the hall in March. I mean, if we do, brilliant, but I don't see it myself. So we could do the Lavinia in March. I'm happy to do that. And we can have a play, and then you want to do it, Pauline. Okay. If you could let me know what you'd like to do, then I will do that. Yes, Lucinda, I know you like your gel plate. So we can do all sorts of things like that. We may even be using the gel plate next month, because I've got an idea and I'm thinking about how to do the background, and it may be done on the gel plate. So I'm just playing around with ideas there. Next month, I think we're going to do a card, a shaped card, definitely, or a slightly different card. We're going to do one of them. And then I'd like us to do something on a circle. And again, I'm not saying you have to go out and get a circular canvas. We can cut out some card and just do it on the card. But I think it would be fun to do it with a different shape. So that's what I'm thinking of doing in February. And obviously, I will give you notice about that. Yes, Nicola, I'll have to think about it before March, though. So I'll have a think over the next 2 weeks. That might not give you enough time. I'll have a little play with the stamps and come up with some ideas, and then you can have a look. All right, I'll email them out to you, so you can let me know if you do want to do that. And then next month, as I said, we'll do a card, slightly different card, and a circle. I was thinking we could work on a circle design and come up with something with your own stamps. Now, the other card that I mentioned briefly, and I will finish quickly because I know I've gone over. This is the Christmas card that I got from Helen. So this is the Christmas card that came from Helen, which then inspired me to do something like that. which is what we were going to do. But this one, what I'll do is I'll do a video of how I've done it. And then I've got the embossed lines around the best wishes, which I'm not sure if you can see actually in the light, because it's not that easy to see, is it? But I have got embossed lines either side of the best wishes. If I show you the debossed area, can you see the debossed area? Yes, if I hold it like that. So you can see it's debossed there. Can I get it at an angle? So it's very, very subtle. It's not very, I know we've done it before in the class as well. And let's see if I angle it towards the light. It's not really showing up, is it? Oh, will it show up like that? Oh, there you go. Oh, no, if I moved it, you can just see them. So you can just see them now, hopefully. So I've just done that. But what I'll do is I'll do a video of that. Okay, how I put that together so that you can have that if you're interested. It's a quite straightforward one to do. And I've used the Phil Martin colouring pens on this, so you can see what they look like. All right. Well, thank you once again for joining me this morning and for your support. This is what we then finished with, and compared to the other one that I did, so you can see it is different. There's enough differences. It's similar but different, so you can see how we can do different things on the pages. I will be in touch again soon. You take care. Have a good week. I've got a funeral to go to on Monday. My mum's neighbour, which is quite sad. But she was 99. There we go. Just before her 100th birthday. But these things happen, don't they? It wasn't COVID related either. She was poorly. So thank you very much. Glad you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you again soon. Take care.